As efforts to end the Russia-Ukraine war intensify, US President Donald Trump has set a two-week timeline to assess the peace prospects. But sharp disagreements persist, with Moscow demanding major concessions and Kyiv urging tougher sanctions. Meanwhile, NATO has pledged stronger security guarantees for Ukraine. DD India's Dheeraj Das has more.
US President Donald Trump has set a two-week time frame for assessing peace talks between Russia and Ukraine as the US President ramps up his efforts to negotiate an end to the conflict. Meanwhile, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said there is no agenda for a potential summit between Putin and his Ukrainian counterpart Zelensky, accusing Zelensky of saying no to everything. Lavrov said Putin made it clear he was ready to meet Zelensky to discuss a possible deal to end the conflict in Ukraine, provided there was a proper agenda for such a session, something he said was lacking for now. Sources in Kremlin say that President Vladimir Putin is demanding that Ukraine give up all of the eastern Donbas region, renounce ambitions to join NATO, and remain neutral and keep Western troops out of the country. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Zelensky welcomed NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte in Kiev on Friday for talks on security guarantees by other states for his country. Holding a joint press conference with President Zelensky, the NATO chief called for robust security guarantees for Ukraine so Russia will never attack again.
Robust security guarantees will be essential, and this is what we are now working to define. So that when the time comes, for you to enter that bilateral meeting, you have the unmistakable force of Ukraine's friends behind you, ensuring that Russia will uphold any deal and will never ever again attempt to take 1 square kilometer of Ukraine.
President Zelensky, who is seeking more support to counter Russia and level more sanctions on it, accused Moscow of shirking a meeting between him and President Putin, urging Ukraine's allies to put fresh sanctions on Moscow if it shows no interest in peace.
The Russians will try to do something else now to avoid a meeting. The issue is not just the meeting, the issue is that they don't want to end the war. A bilateral meeting is one of the components of how to end the war. It's not all, it's one of the components. And since they don't want to end it, they will look for space for it. And this space needs to be reduced.
In a widening of the fallout of the Ukraine conflict, Russian oil supplies to Hungary and Slovakia could be suspended for at least 5 days following the latest Ukrainian strike on a facility in Russia. Both the countries have stepped up attacks on each other's energy infrastructure over the past few weeks. Dheeraj Das for DD India.